Hi, JEDI colleagues. My name is Sherry Weiss, and I've been teaching for almost 50 years now. I knew I was always born to be a teacher, and I actually thought I was pretty darn good at it. That is, until this year with all my COVID training, especially JEDI, and I've really found out how white-centered I've been, and now I'm going to do something about it. Social justice has always been tremendously important to me, and I believe I have the strategies and tools to do something about it. This video was created with Adobe Sparks and the individual videos using Screencast-O-Matic. Later, you'll see some URL links. You might want to pause and just copy those. By the way, I do play the saxophone. Unfortunately, I haven't practiced enough to play for you yet. Humanizing online learning has been my top priority, and I've taken about a dozen courses, but my two JEDI ones have been most impactful for me, especially because they're teaching me how to help combat systemic racism. As I said in my opening video, decentering whiteness has really been my starting point, especially confronting my own white privilege. On that note, I'd like to share a 3-minute podcast that helped define white fragility for me. I enjoyed and learned from all of Wei Ming's interviews, but the two most impactful ones for me were Russell Young's detailed portrait of Asian American student stereotypes and Janetta Richards' highlights on how our accepted views of history have helped build and maintain white supremacy. Raised in a privileged white middle-class Jewish home with lots of books, I certainly had a lot of educational opportunities that many of my students have not had, and I need to acknowledge that. But in addition, my mom raised us to be very loving and accepting of all people, and I'd certainly like to acknowledge that as well. Talking about prejudice, racism, and bigotry is an important classroom activity. I share this cartoon I created on Pixton.com to begin a discussion. One big tactical takeaway from my various trainings has been the use of low-stakes assignments and scaffolding for more major ones. This seems to have been less of a burden for my students and also myself. I do want to investigate contract grading and ungrading, but I do have a fear that my students will take their assignments less seriously, and I guess I have to get over that. What will I do next after completing my 2 JEDI courses? That's easy. I'm going to completely reimagine my syllabus to be more welcoming, just, and inclusive. The link here on the screen is an example of a liquid syllabus that I will adapt for my own courses. Just in case you'd like a tutorial to help you reimagine your own syllabus, here's one you can use. Wei Ming's recorded class lecture regarding anti-racist writing assessments is something I'm going to refer back to for 2 reasons. First is her discussion of rubrics created with her students, but also the whole idea of anti-racist writing assessment. I can clearly see how we can do that with critical thinking and composition courses, but business communication is another story that I'm now discussing with colleagues. One hidden treasure I discovered was our mandatory office hours. Like many of you, I didn't know what to expect, so when I attended my first one, I had every intention to lurk for an hour and then depart. My problem was that I stayed the whole 2 hours, and I keep coming back. Thank you to Wei Ming, all of our facilitators, and you, my fellow activists. This is just the beginning.